How you doing? This is George Senda, the guy from Pittsburgh, and it's time once again for Trump talk. And I'm kind of amazed at all the crap that's out there, and it's mostly from the lamestream leftist media like CNN, CBS, The Guardian in the UK. John Kasich is the hope for the establishment. The guy's won one primary with 60-some delegates, but he thinks he's going to go into the convention and overturn everything and become the nominee. Well, they made fun of Donald Trump. So you'd have riots if he doesn't become the nominee. I think there'll be a riot at the convention. Not a riot where people are throwing punches. And by the way, in his rally by the leftists who are yelling, Trump is hate, Trump is hate. Trump doesn't hate anyone. It's ridiculous. They're down there because Donald Trump, he said it in his speech, I heard the whole speech, wants to stop the flood of illegals coming into this country. He wants to go back home. He wants to build a wall to stop them from crossing the border. Now, the only thing about with that is what do the animals do that need to cross the border for food? I don't know how he's going to get around that. I'd hate to see animals die to stop illegals. And he wants us to vet Muslims coming into this country. He wants to stop anybody from a Muslim country from coming in until they're checked out. Now, the episode Babylon of the X-Files had precisely this question in mind. It's fiction. But they had Muslim terror cells in Texas. The people come here, they become radicalized, and two Muslims went to an art gallery and blew up a piece of artwork. I personally think that would have been a disgusting piece of artwork. They had Muhammad sitting on a toilet, defecating. One blew himself up, and one almost blew himself up. They had to get into his mind to find out where the rest of the terror cell was. And Scully and Mulder and Agent Einstein, I never did catch the name of the other agent. And it's funny because Agent Einstein, I'm busy doing videos, I'll call you back. Agent Einstein was a skeptic, and her partner was not. And they were a younger version of Scully and Mulder. It was great fun. And by the end of the episode, she went over to Mulder's side. So you might have a team there of the new Scully and Mulder one day. I enjoyed the hell out of the episode. But we have people who are out to kill us. Not just Americans. French, Belgians, Englishmen, Welshmen, Scotsmen, Irishmen, Afghanis, Pakistanis, Indonesians, Indians, people in India, people in Mumbai. They've all been killed by Muslim terror as they shout Allah Akbar and blow themselves up or go into a hotel or a Christmas party or a coffee shop and kill the innocent, even though the Quran says you not kill the innocent women and children. These jerks violate their own Islamic law, what's in the Quran written by Muhammad, their most sacred prophet, because they hate. They're not true Muslims. They're fanatics. And they're young men who are angry. They come to England, they come to elsewhere, and they live in enclaves that shut out the rest of the people of the country. They're insulated from the rest of the people of the country. They don't assimilate, just like illegal aliens don't assimilate. They don't know the language. They feel outside, like they're outsiders. They go to the mosque and they get radicalized. You have young men and women who come to the country at a young age and suddenly decide that it is They're destined to kill the infidel. And that's what Trump wants to stop. He has Latinos as employees. He doesn't hate Latinos. He says he loves Mexicans. He does business in Mexico. That's another thing. They're criticizing him for promoting his businesses during his speech. He's a businessman, Pally. That's what he's supposed to do. There's no law against it. He can talk whatever he wants. It's called free speech. Hello, leftist media. Talked about his new hotel in Washington, D.C. and what he plans to do. And specific proposals. And this morning, there's an article saying his tax proposals will be devastating the United States, because it would give the middle class about a 5% tax cut, and the upper class is a bigger tax cut. But you know what? You get a tax cut, what are people going to do with the money? When we had the stimulus money, they didn't save it. They went out and spent it, where they paid bills. If you got 5% of your income comes back to you, you're probably going to take a little bit if you're smart and save it, or invest it. But the rest, you're going to spend it on something. You just made 5%. I mean, they take out 7% for Social Security. And that means jobs, and that means money, and that means more people working. And not 30 hours a week either. So I think it's a good thing. Now, I don't know why he's got everything geared up here and the middle class down here. But maybe because that's how he thinks. But one thing we have in this country, we attack the rich. The rich provide the investment capital to start business in this country. And the left doesn't understand that. I also want to get rid of this thing where the investment bankers types get to do their income and hedge funds on capital gains instead of something else. I don't entirely understand it, but I think that needs to be gotten rid of. They need to pay regular income taxes like everybody else. They get a huge tax break from that. Hedge fund guys, the hedge fund managers. And, you go out and buy your stocks and bonds, you got to pay capital gains at the normal rate. You don't get no tax break if you're a regular guy, regular investor. Maybe somebody like Warren Buffett or Bill Gates gets a big tax break somehow. They got accountants and armies of attorneys. But the regular guy buying 50 or 100 shares of Walmart or Wells Fargo Bank or Alcoa, he don't get that kind of break. Why should these big guys? Let them pay what the regular guy does. I got nothing against them, but it ain't right. And the other thing, Donald Trump is hateful. I mean, they had these people in Arizona blocking the road with their bodies and deflating the tires of their cars so people couldn't attend Donald Trump's rally. And they focused on that in the news, and they focused on some guy being taken away and another guy cold cocking. Let's have to stay up. I guess I'm not to move that. Excuse me a minute. Well, I looked at the video, and you know what? It wasn't a white guy that did it. It was a black guy. Not that I'm saying it's bad to be a black guy or anything like that. But they focused on protester punch to Trump rally. Wasn't Trump doing it. It wasn't his supporters doing it. I don't know if this guy was a Trump supporter or not. He went wham and nailed the guy. And you know what? The cops were right there, and they took him into custody too. Put handcuffs on him, dragged him away. There's no call for that at any rally. But there's also no call for the leftists, the MoveOn.org, the peacenik types. They're not peaceniks anymore, but it's the same type of protester we've been seeing for 50 years. They show up at every event and every rally and say America's terrible, and this guy's terrible, and that's terrible. Trump is hateful. Trump hates illegals. Trump hates gays. Trump hates Mexicans. Trump hates Latinos. Trump hates people of color. None of it's true. They do that because Trump is saying what people want to hear. There's no voice for the people in this country. The regular, run-of-the-mill, middle-class guy who's seen their jobs go out to overseas. The Rust Belt, where their factories are closed. Hell, there's factories in Oakland. Sunshine Biscuits, closed forever. Granny Goose, closed forever. Now they came back, but what happened with these companies, they declared bankruptcy, and in 6 months, a year, they reorganize, they get big investment money, and they come back as another company with the same trade name, the same product name. But instead of making the potato chips or cookies or whatever it is in this country, they now make them in Mexico like Oreo does. And when they did that, 600 jobs were lost in Chicago. 600 American jobs to make your Oreo cookies. You know what? I've tasted the Oreo cookies in Mexico. They suck. They don't taste as good as the ones made here. Probably they're cutting down on the sugar or something. I don't eat a ton of Oreo cookies. They are kind of addictive after a while. I dip them in my coffee. Kathy thinks it's gross. But I haven't had an Oreo cookie in 3 months. I'm trying to lay off the Oreo cookies. Now I'm taking this stuff that's intended to get me to stop craving things like Oreo cookies. The problem is junk food tastes good. And everything that's diet tastes like crap. Tastes like you're eating sawdust. Or it has no taste at all. So, you need to look at what people are really saying and not what the media is telling you what they're saying. Look behind the words. Trump has had Latinos on his stage. We are for Donald Trump. We will vote for Donald Trump. He has the two very funny black women who are very pro-Trump. They do YouTube videos. They've been on stage. Sarah Palin, Chris Christie. And there's a lot of stars. Bruce Willis. Loretta Lynn. Charlie Sheen. Whole bunch of stars that are for Trump. Mike Tyson. They all think Trump will make America better. We have had a president for 8 years who's denigrated America at every turn. I remember he said, bitter clingers that cling to their guns and their Bibles about the people of Pennsylvania. And even this weekend he made a speech how we're divided. We're only divided because we got this guy in the White House. He's dividing every time he talks, he divides the American people. But the low information voters don't get that. They just see Obama as, the great savior. With the great GDP that at one point this summer was at 0. You can look it up. Great economy when the GDP is at 0. The gas prices, cost of crude's going up. Keeps fluctuating 40, 38, 42. But it's going up. And they don't factor it into inflation, but your prices are going to go up. And what did he do last week? The environmentalists on the left. Obama, stop. The beaches are going to be ruined. So he banned drilling off the Atlantic coast when we need oil. We're shipping oil out of the country, but we're going to need that oil one day. Can't drill for oil. This guy's obsessed with not drilling for oil. If he'd been in Oil City, Pennsylvania in 1858, when they discovered oil in Pennsylvania, the internal combustion engine would have never happened. There would have been no oil to drive it with. There was no diesel fuel for trucks. No jet fuel for planes. No fuel for ships. We'd all be riding around horses in a buckboard. Except there aren't enough horses to go around. Because this guy's obsessed with fighting big oil and big coal. No matter what the economic effects. Well, I'm sure the people in West Virginia and Kentucky have all lost their jobs. And Peabody Energy, it's about to go bankrupt because of Obama's apology. They're real happy with Obama. And those guys are all union members. You think they're going to be voting for Hillary Clinton? I don't think so. So anyway, that's what I got to say about Trump talk today. I'll be back with another episode. What am I doing? I'm not awake. That's what I'm doing. I'll be back tomorrow with another episode. All right, have a great day, and I'll catch you next time. Bye-bye. How you doing? This is George Senda, the guy from Pittsburgh, and today I want to talk about black-eyed kids. Not black-eyed peas or black-eyed peas in a pod, but black-eyed kids. Now, we have a category in the paranormal called urban legends. Slender Man is an urban legend. It was created because people had a contest on a paranormal website. They wanted to create a creature that didn't exist. And it blew up in their face because now people are saying they've seen Slender Man. Girls in Wisconsin tried to kill one of their schoolmates. They stabbed her something like 40 or 50 times, and miraculously she lived. And they're being tried as adults. They're 12-year-old kids. And they said Slender Man told them to do it. A mother in Texas got attacked by her daughter because she was into Slender Man, was reading stuff on the internet, reading books about Slender Man. So we have a creature that didn't exist, and yet could conscious thought have created this creature? Some think so. And then we have black-eyed children. Well, they're tied to the Men in Black. And they're supposed to be an urban legend too, but people are seeing them. Children reporting these children meet them at their school bus stops, in schools, in stores, playgrounds. And they want to go home with them and play. Or their mother goes to pick them up. And there's a black-eyed kid, or maybe two of them, a male and a female, with coal black eyes, no pupils, no whites in their eyes. And they ask if they can go for a ride in the car. And the mother or the father will say, I don't feel right about this. They tell them to get out of the car, and they don't always want to leave. Don't let them in your car. Don't let them play with your kids. And then they show up at people's doorsteps, and they ring the doorbell. They want to come in to use the phone because their parents belong to pick them up. And the gullible, or the people that don't know about the danger these creatures pose, let them in. And once you let them in, they don't go away. And then weird stuff starts happening. Fires, animals killed, people getting deathly ill. Series of bad luck happens to people. And supposedly the black-eyed kids, when they come in, they're like vampires, but they don't feed off of blood, they feed off of human souls. And apparently there's no limit to the souls they could eat. And some have said they create new souls. They said they've been asked, they have an unlimited supply of souls for them to devour. And one site said these creatures have been here since the dawn of time. They've always been with us. It's like shadow people. So if you or your children or your wives or girlfriends or significant other or gay couple see these creatures, don't let them into your home. Don't let them play with your children. Don't let them come in and use the phone. Don't let them ride in your car. And another thing, when they've allowed people to come in and use the phone and they said their parents arrive to pick them up, who shows up? Dark 4-door sedan with 2 men in it. Black ties, white shirts, black jackets, black pants, black shoes. Looking not quite human. Oh yes, and black hats out of style. More so the 50s. They are, of course, the men in black. So what their ties are to the black-eyed children, who knows? But they're bad news too. So stay away from the men in black if you can. All right. I have another subscriber. I want to welcome to the channel. I think it was Dead Man Walks. And Yolanda Witters, stop posting to my channel because I'm the only one that sees the comments. You've been blocked. It's pointless for you to comment. I only see them for a second. They pop up in notifications and they're gone. Poof. You've been blocked because you made some bad comments. And I'm not going to allow bad comments on my channel. It's bad enough I get that crap on BellGab. And believe it, if I could control that, I would. Okay, I've got to go off because Patty's coming to take me and Kathy to Oakland to get my Mac out of the pawn shop and pay the interest in my Go camera, and I will get that out in June. And by September, I should have all my loans out, and that will free up a lot of money. And I should also be able to pay one of my traffic fines by September. It's $150. So working to get my license back by next year. And then get my own car so I can go where I want and do what I want. And go to events, and with a 4x4, I don't have to stay in a hotel. If I had to, I could sleep in the back of the car. It won't be comfortable, but it will be available. And a lot cheaper than $104 a night. All right. Have a great day. Have fun. And watch out for the black-eyed kids. I'll catch you next time. Bye-bye.